This is a Brawl Network production. You're listening to the Warriors Brawl Podcast.
Curry, long distance, puts it in. Stephen Curry with another. They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Oh, what a shot from Curry!
Here are your hosts, comedians, and Golden State Warrior die-hard fans, Eli and Derrick.
We need to get the siren noise in here for sure. That'd be fun.
You didn't like the way I did it?
I do like it, but I like the real pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, nice.
Makes me feel like I'm in that fucking nightclub on the beach in Tulum.
Makes me think of Jamaican man that's about to yell in the background.
Yeah.
It's a party, man. Run things, rude boy.
Maybe one day.
I've been in Brooklyn too long.
So kind of a up and down week for the Warriors. I remember last time we did. This is what happens, by the way, in sports when I'm rooting for my team and I get overly confident. It always goes to shit.
You get snake bit, man.
I always have to be. I always, for some reason, my teams do better when I think that they suck. I don't know why, but last time I was feeling good. We beat the Lakers, and I was like, we're gonna go on a 4-win tear.
Yeah. Was I on board with that 4-win tear, or was I the voice of reason?
You said that we'd go 3-1.
Yeah, I definitely said you'd beat the Knicks.
Yeah, the Spurs was a good game. I mean, you kind of saw what we could be potentially, but then in the next few games, we realized that is not where we're at yet, and that is not a sustainable way to play.
I will say this about the Knicks game: if Draymond's not thrown out, you win that game. I really believe that.
Well, we were playing badly. But he was ejected pretty early on.
Once, at the time he got ejected, if I remember correctly, it was a one-possession game after you guys had come back because it was no defense played at all by the Warriors the first quarter.
Right. So that was kind of, you can chalk it up to a bad call. I really think they should do something.
That ref was racist. I'm kidding, NBA.
Maybe not racist, but definitely like Draymond has some baggage that I think they're more quick to pull out tees and stuff.
Yeah, it's like Rasheed Wallace and fucking Dennis Rodman back in the day, man. Once you get that reputation. But that shit was weird, though. He was like, I thought he was yelling at me, or I wasn't sure he was yelling at me, but he was yelling, so I teed him up.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dude. I don't know.
You can't give people too much power, man. Some people get power and corrupt it.
Right. Just like Joe Biden. No, I'm joking.
Oh, my God. This is a Warrior podcast. We love Joe Biden.
I'm just joking. I love Joe Biden. I love Kamala Harris. Come on, Oakland native. Come on, I'm just joking around. I just like to feed the trolls.
No comment.
But anyway, so whatever. I mean, I don't want to talk about the Knicks game. I mean, he was ejected, whatever. I mean, but then we got trounced by the Jazz. Like, we got blown out. And I want to start – I hate how that sounds.
Yeah.
So I want to put a positive spin. So I'm going to say the Jazz blew us. Like, they blew us so hard.
So hard y'all went to sleep.
Dude, we got blown by the Jazz.
But, dude,
they blew us
who's
away.
playing better than the Jazz right now? Their record is very good. I think
it's one thing to
right
lose
behind.
to a good team. It's another thing to be down 14-0 in the first 3 minutes or something.
Yeah. Was it in Utah?
Yeah.
Let's be honest. No one wants to go to Utah. Man.
Well, yeah, and I did. They historically they've always played us well. Even when we had Kevin Durant, they beat us a lot during the regular season. So they're well coached. They have some nice pieces, and right now they're really coming into their own this year. But it wasn't a good look. I don't know. Did you watch? What'd you see in that game?
I missed that game. But let me tell you what I saw. I saw Donovan Mitchell was a problem.
Right.
And Gobert probably do you think Gobert got Wiseman benched?
Well, either way, it was not good. And after the game, I mean, listen, and Wiseman, Gobert is one of the best centers in the league. And I think we'll get to
especially on the defensive side. He doesn't do much on offense.
Yeah, but
as far as defense, he's a
who's
better than him? He's probably the best defensive center in the league.
Right.
Yeah.
So either way, like afterwards, I watched the post game interviews, and Steve Kerr was very upset, and he was just like, we need to make some decisions as an organization, what kind of team we're supposed to be. And, he was very frustrated about the ball movement and the effort and the defense, because his whole thing as a coach was, I want to be a top 10 defense. He's kept saying that over and over again.
Yeah.
And then Draymond Green also was mad. He's kind of like the coach on the floor.
Draymond's always mad, though. Let's be honest.
But he was just like, are we an ISO team, or are we a ball movement team? Are we a defensive team, or are we not a defensive team? Yeah. And so I think he was also feeling frustrated. And then
I know I missed that game, but I've seen most of the games this year. Ball movement hasn't been a problem. Must have been very stagnant.
Sometimes, I mean that's the thing. We have games like the Spurs where we're clicking and we're moving and we're shucking and driving. We have moments in games where the ball's doing that, and then we have moments in games where it's like you take a shot, he takes a shot, you take a shot, I take a shot. Like,
can I be honest with my assessment of those words from Steve Kerr?
What?
He's been a dick, man.
What?
He's just been a dick so he can have y'all ready for April.
I don't know. Well, after that happened, and this had been clamoring on a while, because once again that Utah loss, like Oubre was another problem. He's been a problem at times. Now I've been on Kelly Oubre's junk. I've been the one being like, I've been the one who's been saying, give him time. He's really good on defense. He's a high energy guy. He brings a lot of things to the table. Maybe just not his shot percentage, but his career, he's a decent shooter, man. I think it's just a funky slump he's in. Yeah, maybe. Well, either way, they were like, they're gonna make some changes to the lineup, and then came all the internet blogger sports pundits. As Draymond Green quoted, saying they don't know.
Cute when we say Draymond Green.
They don't know shit about basketball. And I actually wanted to text you yesterday. I forgot to because I don't know why, but I wanted to text you yesterday before the game because I saw these articles coming out being like, even in the Chronicle, like. They have to bench Kelly Oubre and they have to put Damian Lee in because they need to space the floor. And I wanted
That's my guy.
I know that's your guy, and I know that's who you're pushing for. A lot of people. I've also heard Michael Mulder, who's proven to be a really good shooter as well. But I wanted to text you last night because I knew that wasn't going to happen. I was like, the better call is to put in Kayvon Looney. Yeah. To start.
And it makes sense. He's a veteran, man. How many wars he's gone through?
I see. Yeah, people harp on him all the time because his stats don't jump out at you, and he kind of walks like an old man. Like he's kind of rickety, and he's only 24, but like he looks like
Looney's only 24.
Yeah, he looks like he's fucking 32 out there, man.
Yo, he's only 24.
Yeah.
Yo, I thought he was at least 30-something. Man.
Yeah, dude.
It seems like he's been around for a long time. Well, he come in like after 1 year of college or some shit.
Yeah, and he was injured a lot. He's had a plethora of injuries, and his stats don't jump out at the page. He can't really jump that much. He's not he's not big.
And when Wiseman makes a highlight, it looks great.
Oh my God! It
like
looks
the monster dunks, the alley-oops, the block shots.
Of course,
look good.
Yeah, Kayvon's not like a much of a sexy player.
But I guarantee you, he's better at setting picks.
Way 100%. Screen setting, all that stuff.
Defensive rebounding and defensive rotation.
Right.
Which is probably why he got benched.
And because one of the things that the Warriors have over any other team in the league right now is continuity. Like you have guys like Steph Curry is the longest tenured NBA player of any NBA player. He's been on the Warriors longer than any other player has been on any other team. Yeah. And then you also have Draymond and Looney has been in that organization for I think 5 years. And on top, so he knows the system really well. And then on top of that, he's gone to battle with those guys. He was really showing up against Toronto.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's ridiculous that you'd be like, I think people have to stop looking at this team like, let's find a way to make it the same team as it was in 2016 and we don't have Clay, so we'll try to get a pretty good shooter in there instead.
How do you feel about Damian Lee in place of Oubre?
I don't like it.
I think they have
because
both. I think there's very
because who does Oubre guard? He guards LeBron James. Yeah. He guards Anthony Davis. He guards Donovan Mitchell. He guards.
So you don't think they have like similar potential as a defender?
No, I mean Damian Lee's good at
he scraps on defense.
He scraps on defense. He's good at getting rebounds, but he does not have the length. He doesn't have the quickness.
So I'm thinking, if Oubre keeps giving you nothing at that position as far as like shooting wise to help space the floor and stuff like that, maybe try him out. It's long season. I might try him out in there.
Try it out for a game.
Yeah,
but I don't know. It's so hard. It's a dull.
But Damian doesn't even get that much time coming off the bench though. I don't even think he's the next wing in the rotation. It's like what's the guy?
No, he's solidified himself. He's been coming around a lot. I mean, he plays a little bit.
He doesn't play more. What's the guy they got from Boston? Wanamaker. He doesn't play more than Wanamaker.
Wanamaker's a better like playmaker, I guess.
Mm-hmm. He might be a
and
better
that's actually
defender too.
The unit they've been closing with a lot is Steph and Brad as at the guard positions.
Yeah,
and then Draymond and Wiggins at the wing, and then Kayvon at the center. That's kind of their closing unit. Yeah. And that makes sense just because Wanamaker's a bit better of a shooter. He's a decent defender, and he's a veteran. I think he's more savvy with what they're trying to do on offense.
Yeah. It might be a playmaker thing, too, why Wanamaker doesn't start. Because if you take him out that second unit and put Oubre in there, who's really going to be a playmaker?
Who's going to handle the rock?
And Pascal, he can in the half court, he's actually he's a very good passer. He can play make in the half court, but like as far as like dribbling, you might need Wanamaker.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Kelly needs to start hitting shots. Period.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, if we're trying to replace as much of Klay Thompson as you can, and because remember, Klay Thompson was an amazing two-way player.
Yeah.
I think Oubre's defense, while not as elite as Klay, is closer to Klay's defense than D. Lee's shooting is as close to Klay's shooting. Because Damian Lee's like a pretty good shooter, but let's not. He's not Klay Thompson.
Well,
good.
You're not going to get like another shooter like Klay Thompson. Who would you put on that team that could shoot like Klay? At two, who shoots like so? You're not.
You can't do that.
Like what you're.
That's what I'm saying.
What you're replacing is like the offensive output.
You can replace Klay's defense. You can't replace his offense. So if you can't replace his offense, no matter what you do, you might as well try to replace the defense. That's what I'm trying to say.
You got to do it by committee, man. They got like all those guys have to give you enough to account for Klay's points.
Right. Well, that's why I don't know why Michael Mulder's not getting more minutes. That guy is shooting like 50% from three.
Yeah.
He doesn't play with fear.
Is his defense bad or something?
I don't think so.
Most coaches won't fuck around with that defense shit. You could like, I'm pretty sure Kerr is like a much more allowing of like Oubre his bad shooting streak than if he was like missing defensive assignments.
Right. Exactly.
Because he might be looking at it like I'm looking. I think Oubre he's in a slump.
Right, and he's working. And I think also too. When you had Kayvon in there, is it Kayvon or Kayvon? Kayvon? We don't know.
We got to ask him.
Yeah. Well,
is it Terrell? Is it Terrell?
But with Kayvon out there and the offense moving like it's supposed to move with the off-ball screens and the motion and whatnot, Oubre doesn't have to, try and make something out of nothing at the end of the shot clock or
no.
He doesn't have to take these shots early in the shot clock for fear because everyone's, bottled up by their defenders and he has some space. So, I think his shooting might get better too if he's in a situation that can cater to that more. And then also we saw
he just has to hit open shots.
Right. Well,
he's going to get open shots because like every game I've watched, not Clay, but Steph is like he's followed by a bunch of guys.
Right.
One guy on him, everybody else looking at him. So you're going to get open shots. You have to hit those open shots. And Kelly hasn't been doing that.
Right.
Consistently enough.
Right.
But it's early, man. Got some time.
I guess. It's short season. Well, he said Steve Kerr said he wasn't going to change the starting lineup until, he's going to take 20 games to reassess.
Oh, and they just hit 22, right?
No, the last night was their 17th game. But it makes sense, right? Because they're 8-8 at their first 16 games. They have a decent sized sample size of what they're trying to do, and then you have these 2 games against a depleted Minnesota team that was bad even before they were depleted. And so you can have a little bit more wiggle room. Yeah. So these are the games to experiment. I'm curious to see if there's any other changes to the lineup, starting or otherwise, on Wednesday night when they face them again.
It's crazy, yo. As a coach, you're constantly evaluating your team,
right?
And he probably does have like a 10 game, 20 game,
right?
Like, how do I want to see Wiseman progress in these games?
Right.
What do I do if he's not?
Right.
So you constantly assessing.
Well,
I feel sorry for his wife.
Okay.
She wants to hang out with you, and you got all these big, tall black dudes running around in your mind.
So even though Kayvon has the championship experience and the veteran
how
experience,
they like to say medal,
yeah, and he played. You still and the starting lineup seem to be doing really well. Yep. And by the way, that lineup with Kayvon instead of James Wiseman is their best lineup if you look at the stats. So
like the plus minus, and
and all those whatever stats they have.
The good old analytics.
So you're still curious, even with Kayvon in there and them seeming to find a groove last night. You still want to see Damian Lee start instead of Oubre for at least a game or so.
Like, not necessarily.
You were big on him. You
I
were like,
work him in the rotation a little more. I like the way he play, yo.
Right.
He about that life.
Right.
But I don't know. Steve Kerr seeing these guys all the time, I guess they don't practice as much now, but in game situations. So
right,
it's got to be something he sees about Kelly Oubre over Damian Lee.
Do
you think the owner would be like, I'm paying Oubre more than Lee, so play him?
Maybe. Why not? It's a business, right?
Yeah, he might.
You have to look like you're an organization that doesn't bail on players, that believes in, you know what I mean? It's easy. It's easy to bench James Wiseman because none of the other rookies except for I think LaMelo are starting. Is LaMelo starting?
No, he's not starting.
Yeah,
Charlotte got 2 solid guards down there. I think does Edwards start?
No.
Yeah.
No. So no.
But it's not a given that a rookie's going to start, even if they're
exactly.
highly touted. Yeah.
So and it also makes sense too. Lineup needed to change. They need to do something because they're not happy with where they're at. Goes to the young guy.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you gotta get people attention.
Maybe Draymond Green said this in his interview. I told Wiseman, it's you're the young guy. Makes the most sense. Maybe down the road we're going to change our lineup again, and they'll they'll move the other young guy. Yeah. So it's just right now is your time, and he seems to be okay. But we'll talk about James Wiseman in a little bit. But I do want to just talk about Steve Kerr's been getting some flack. On the internet about this lineup thing and about being stubborn or whatever, and having too much of a complicated offense with this young team and how he has to simplify. And I think
is a roundabout way of saying your team is stupid,
right? But first of all, I think Steve's a great coach, and I think that
I don't know, man. He can stand to win a championship or 1 or 2 championships. Oh, he has. I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen to any of this shit. Steve is like, he's so accomplished, man.
His no, he said, he's so accomplished. He doesn't give a I remember he was, he had one game where they gave an interview, courtside interview with him in between the third and fourth quarter that they played during the game, right? Yeah. And they were one of the last question they asked him was Steve, they seem to be doing this. They seem to be double teaming Steph a lot. Is there anything you can do to get him open and get him scoring? And Steve Kerr was like, I don't know. If you have any ideas, let me know. And I'm like, that's badass, dude.
Right? That's why I'm sure he doesn't listen to the internet, man.
I'm seeing a little Phil Jackson of that. I'm seeing a little Phil Jackson coming out in his interviews.
A little bit of Popovich too, maybe.
Yeah, his Phil. Yeah, but that's sort of Zen coach sending messages out to the team and to the world in these interviews. Yeah. I'm seeing it. He said, when they were asking about the lineup the other week when he was trying to develop them, he was like, if I had to win a game tomorrow, this wouldn't be the lineup I start. And later, I said this before in the pod, we have to discuss, all of us, including management, what kind of team we want to be, what kind of organization do we want to be. And he's basically just saying, Are we trying to win games and get as far as we can in the playoffs, or are we trying to develop James Wiseman?
Once again, I think that's coach just buzzing ass because he know the playoffs are coming, just like winter was.
I'm just saying.
But
you can develop Wiseman playing, scattering him in, sprinkling him in 10 to 15 minutes a game without every game trotting him out against, elite teams as starting five and having him get crushed by the Rudy Goberts and the Anthony Davises of the world. You know what I mean?
I will say this, though.
He made Marcus Aldridge look like a bitch, though.
I will say this, though. Damn, I lost my thought. But the kid is extremely talented.
Right.
And,
I mean,
as that high of a pick, you got a lot of expectations, right, when you come out number one.
Well,
but it's
two.
all who knows how you're gonna number two. Who knows how he's gonna develop it? But maybe Steve's just lighting up fire on his ass.
Right.
But I don't know. I wouldn't freak out too much about this early season move. It's but these games are valuable, especially if you guys end up in the range I think you are, which is
what do we say? Between four and eight. Yeah.
And then any given year, the West, that spot 4 and 8. Because be separated by 3 games.
Right.
4 games.
So you really need to fucking beat the Knicks when you have a chance.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about James when we'll talk about the upcoming games. First, let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsors.
Before we do, R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. It's been 1 year since the great left.
We can do that before the break. Yeah. Mamba forever.
No doubt.
So sad.
Even though you was a Laker, man, it's still all love, baby.
Right.
Now, if you were a bum, I would have said
one of the most clutch. Maybe the most clutch players, just insane.
Yeah, like a mini me to Jordan,
right?
Which was crazy.
Yeah.
Word.
All right. We miss you, Kobe. Where we are. 'Tis the playoffs, and to celebrate, all new players can play free for $1 million in top prizes with your first deposit, thanks to our partnership with DraftKings. Create your DraftKings DFS account and make a deposit. DraftKings will credit your account with free contest entry. Draft your lineup and compete for millions in prizes. Just go to dkng.co/partner to play. That's dkng.co/partner. Act quickly. This offer ends after the playoffs. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. And support for Warriors Brawl is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Big news, Manscaped just released their new cologne scent to help you feel good and smell good all over and at all times. Who knew smelling this good could feel this good, too? And I agree. I tried some of this on my balls the other day. And
had a hot date? You had a hot date?
I did. And, when you know that, everything down there is nice and tight and smelling good, it makes you feel more comfortable to whip it out.
Right? That confidence
with
goes
consent.
Through the roof.
Of course. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. I sometimes I let it go. Sometimes I trim it up. But if I do trim it up, sometimes it ends up being uneven and not looking good. But with Manscaped, I've really got it looking good down there.
Nice.
Not to brag.
Nice.
Have you?
I did some upkeep recently.
And how'd
I
it go?
went down to Supercuts. They took care of me.
You give him the number on the razor, I'll do number 3 all over. All over.
A little bit of buzz cut. No, actually, I'm waiting for Manscaped to send us stuff for helping them out and promoting them.
Right. Well,
and then I'm gonna use it, man. As soon as they send that shit over,
and I'll send you pictures to.
Oh boy!
Everyone knows Manscaped has the perfect package 3.0. Sounds like my dick for all your below the waist grooming needs. But they didn't stop there. Complete your grooming game with the new refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. With the same signature scent that's in all Manscaped formulas, this cologne is a perfect complement to the collection. Light, approachable, and gentlemanly in all the right ways. Think of it as your wingman for the night to keep you fresh and ready for anything. Calming and inviting, this signature scent introduces a light citrus burst before settling into the anchoring notes of vetiver and a woodsy, masculine finish. I mean,
it sounds lovely, doesn't it?
It sounds like a nice glass of wine. I don't even know what vetiver is, but I like the smoky notes on my cock.
It said woodsy. It did say woodsy on purpose. Is that that's a pun? I like smelling woodsy around my wood.
This 50 milliliter spray cologne is even hypoallergenic, so a girl ain't gonna sneeze on your dick.
15 milliliters. I need at least 2 liters.
Cruelty-free, dye-free, paraben-free, and 100% vegan. But
Cruelty-free means they don't
test it on animals. They don't spray it on some cat nuts.
Imagine this. These are people balls.
Yeah. This beautifully designed glass bottle makes a statement, and the manly scent is attractive to set the mood. Also, be sure to check out the Perfect Package 3.0, sounds like my dick, with all the essentials for your below-the-waist grooming needs, including the Lawnmower 3.0, trimmer, and crop formulations. Yes, I'm talking ball deodorant and toner to keep your testes the besties.
Have you seen the bottle? Is it shaped like a nutsack? A cleanly shaven nutsack, of course.
No, it's a very classy bottle. It goes right on your... it's discreet. You can put it, right on your dresser, and nobody's going to feel weird about it. And now you can use the new Manscaped Refined Cologne to complete your set and smell great anytime, anywhere. It's time to feel sexy, guys. Come on, get out there. It's a pandemic, I know. A lot of you are lonely, but, when this thing comes back, hopefully you get the vaccine. You can get out there. You can get back into the game. When you're in the game, you need to make sure you have your game face on.
Yeah, this is like practice time. You got to be ready for game time.
Exactly. It's tough out there, and you gotta separate yourself. So maybe you don't have a job because you spend all your time listening to Warriors podcasts, and you've cut off your relationships because of this obsession. Well, what can put you over the edge? A nice-looking cock, all right? Let's be real here. These women are whores. It's time to feel sexy. Get 20% off free shipping with the code BRAWL at manscaped.com. Your balls and body will thank you. Call to action. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BRAWL at Manscaped. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code BRAWL. Look good, smell good, feel good with Manscaped.
Shout out to Manscaped, bringing sexy back.
So we kind of I wanted to we're rolling, by the way, right?
Of course.
All right. I wanted to keep this. I wanted to what's it called? I wanted to go into this before the break, but So what do we do with James Wiseman now? I mean, I'm not too worried about him. I think he still looks good. I do get worried that he kind of has not been playing with Draymond as much. So if they can find a way to tweak the lineup so that he can still get that coaching in game without us starting him off, I think it'd be good. But I mean, from what you see, what do you like the best about him, and what do you like least about him?
His size and athleticism
Is what you like the best.
Yeah.
What do you like the least?
He's lost out there quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think that's probably why he got slid to the second lineup.
Right.
But it's like, dude, it's you in the big leagues now, dog. It's like some people have a faster learning curve, and others don't. Like, all he has to do, in my opinion, all he has to do is stay in the starting rotation, is tighten up the defense.
Right.
And
gotta get better at rebounds. You're
rebounds,
7-1.
yeah.
You gotta get 10 rebounds a game.
He should not be around 10 if he's getting a significant amount of time.
Right.
But yeah, he's fine. I don't. You know me, baby. I don't worry about basketball.
Yeah.
They figuring shit out. He's like, that's why Steve is tinkering right now.
I mean, from what I gather, his mood is good. He seems chipper in the interviews. Some of his on-court body language I don't like. Like sometimes somebody will get by him or he'll make a mistake and his shoulders will just drop and he'll look a little defeated. And I'd like to see him a bit more aggressive and engaged. Yeah. But besides that,
that's the key. Now, like aggression, that I think that kind of lends itself towards a rebound aspect.
Right. And listen, I know that there are people who know way more about this game than me, and that includes...
Nobody knows more than me.
That includes Steve Kerr and James Myers, our general manager, and That's it. And Joe Lacob, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Steve Kerr sings a ton of basketball.
But when they went to go scout the draft picks,
Yeah.
I guess it was only a few amount of people only like 4 people were allowed to come. Usually you can bring a whole team of people.
Yeah.
But instead it was just Steve Kerr, Bob Myers, Joe Lacob.
Because of COVID, right?
Yeah. And their trainer. And everybody made lists, and people back home made their lists. And at the top of all 3, Joe Lacob, Bob Myers, and Steve Kerr, at the top of all their lists, James Wiseman was their number 1.
Yeah.
They like him, and they believe in him. And so I think we should too. So I think if you're feeling frustrated, some of his bonehead moves, just know, or if you're, sad, if you look at the being bumped from the starting lineup as like a loss or a step back, I really wouldn't look at it that way. They know that they see something that we don't even see, and we've already seen flashes of greatness. So I think, just give the kid a little bit more time. He's 19.
Yeah, dude, you gotta relax. Like,
fucking
if there's any indication that your first year doesn't determine how far you can go as far as your career, just look at Giannis, man.
Yeah. Well, he also grew like 10 inches or something.
I don't think he got taller, man. I think he filled out. He wasn't a monster like he is now, but like
he was 6'9" when they drafted him.
A lot of the improvements happen in the offseason. Mm-hmm. So like, where's Wiseman's head as far as like working to get to be a better player?
Right.
So yeah, I'm not worried about it, man. It's like, first of all, it's early, and he doesn't look bad. It's not like he's looking like a bust or anything.
Right.
Yeah, he just got some things he needs
to
tighten up.
Like I said, some of these highlights are like, whoa.
Yeah.
This is
fucking crazy. So he'll be fine. Steve knows what he's doing.
I mean, Bam Adebayo didn't start for 2 years, and they had Hassan Whiteside, and he's just, empty points, man. He does not play winning basketball. So, even when you have to go up against, somebody that's notoriously, not effective, you as a rookie, you're still not as good. You still have to spend a year or 2 on the bench. But I think it'll come along, and in time, it'll be interesting because the Warriors are such a run and gun team. We haven't really put any focus on center, so it's weird to be putting a lot of our future and plans into this kid. But I'm excited for it.
The league is constantly moving. It's kind of like an organism,
right?
So like the team you were last year is not going to be the team you're going to be next year. Like, look at the Lakers. Lakers are outside of LeBron and AD. They're a different looking team this year.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah. And you are seeing, because of the Lakers and even, Joel Embiid and the Giannis Antetokounmpos of the world and even the Bam Adebayos, there seems to be a return to the significance of big man. Nikola Jokic, I mean, come on. So, I think it's good that we are investing a little bit in a big guy, because I think it might be, it might be where the league is heading, and not maybe in sort of old school big men, but big guys who can do multiple things, who can shoot decently, who can hit a free throw, who can dribble and distribute. And I think
it's still a tall man's game. There's a reason why the average height in the league is always higher than the average height of people in the society. It's a tall man's game. The hoop is 10 feet up.
Right.
So it's all about talented big guys.
Right. And people who can move too many things.
If Wiseman was just big, he didn't have talent.
He'd be Boban Marjanovic.
Yeah, they would have picked somebody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he has the tools.
Yeah, and I think he's a really good kid. I don't know. I like his energy.
Oh, you wouldn't like him as much if he was an asshole that was just killing people.
No, I just think he fits in our mentality. Like, I think Jimmy Butler is great. I don't think he works on the Warriors because it's too much about joy and compassion and mindfulness, and competition is big too.
No, it's not. Like, the only problem he would have on the Warriors is, actually, I don't know if him and Draymond Green would have a problem. Jimmy just wants you to do your job. If you're not doing your job and Jimmy doesn't think you're going 100%, he'll smack you in the face.
Right.
That's why I like Jimmy.
Yeah, I like him too, man. But
like these pros, I bet you Steph is really demanding of his teammates, but like he does it in a different kind of way. He's more the positive reinforcement as opposed to like what Draymond's style would be.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Leaders lead in different ways, man.
Right. Well, yeah, James Washington's going to be fine. We all still love him, and he has a future. But this is part of the growing pains of the NBA. Sometimes you know.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes you like Kelly Oubre. You can't throw a rock in the ocean.
Come on, Kelly Oubre is getting. I would love to see him. I also don't want us to tarnish that relationship because I think he is a great defender and he can get to the hole and he does a lot of things that are really good that fit in our system and I think he'd be a nice bench piece.
Yeah. He's been a solid starter since he's come into the league. So I honestly think it's a slump. He'll shoot his way out of it.
Yeah, we hope.
Okay. If not, he'll get traded.
But this is a contract year. He'll be a free agent after this year. So we'll see. And way it might be good if he plays bad because then we'll have a good chance at re-signing him. Nobody would offer him big bucks.
You don't really need him though.
But I'll want him.
Clay comes back.
I keep thinking about what our team's gonna look like with Clay because it's gonna be so nice. But you got Clay and Steph and Dre and Wiggins and either Loon or Wiseman at the 5. And then coming off the bench, you have either Loon or Wiseman. You have Kelly Oubre, Eric Pascal, Damian Lee, and then either Bazemore or Wanamaker, depending on who you want to go. Nico Mannion's coming along. So, the future looks good. I do want to talk a little bit because we're facing Minnesota we're in the middle of this Minnesota series. Wiggins we keep talking about him, but we just got to keep.
He's consistent.
Yeah, I mean, every game I'm just like, I can't believe I am not worried about Wiggins, and he does stuff that's like right when you need a bucket, he'll get it for you. Or if the shot clock's running down, he might even be, because of his length, a little bit better of an ISO player than Steph, because if Steph's doing ISO, they'll send the house. They'll send all 4 guys of them. Yeah. But they'll let Wiggins do a little one-on-one thing with Ricky Rubio, and he can shoot over him all day.
Yeah.
The little fadeaway.
He has sneaky athleticism, man. Very sneaky. It's like it's almost subtle. He'll do things like that offensive rebound he grabbed last night.
Right.
That's a lot of athleticism.
Right.
And you don't think about him doing that kind of stuff. But he gets it done.
He's
man.
also, I think he's 6th or 7th in the league in terms of block shots, and everybody above him is a center.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
he's guarding.
He's guarding, too. Yeah. And I think it just goes to show, when you don't have to be Maple Jordan, which is what they tried to call him in Minnesota, they expected him to be this transcendent new, savior of the franchise, which he wasn't. And I love the Maple Jordan nickname, but the Warriors have been calling him Two-Way Wiggs.
Like it. Any nickname in the Wiggs I fuck with.
Yeah, Two-Way Wiggs, and that's exactly what he is, man.
Yeah,
he can
play. But some guys can't be the number 1, man.
Right.
And he has no leadership responsibility on his team.
But dude,
he can just ball and be a good teammate.
I know, and if all he has to do when fucking Clay comes back is, find his place, find his shots in that starting unit, and then we can take him out, halfway through the first, and then have him be one of the primary guys in the second unit.
Is he ready to guard LeBron James?
He does. He did.
Yeah, he's a good matchup for him. He's a lot of energy, a lot of length.
Right.
He's not as heavy. He's not as strong as LeBron at that size. But who is? Who is?
Jesus Christ!
He's man. I thought, man, y'all in good shape, man.
42 or 46 he dropped last night at 36 years old. Jesus Christ! He's the NBA's Tom Brady over here.
Whoa, slow down.
But yeah, I just think it was a great move to get Wiggins, and I really like him, and I think he's finally reaching his potential.
Yeah, because he D'Angelo's he's a guard. You guys are good at guard.
Right.
Wiggins is at 3.
Right.
Replacing Kevin Durant in the lineup. So it's y'all in good shape, man.
Well, I don't know. Are we though? Because we're 8-8. Or I guess now we're 9-8. But that's for good versus a bad team. And we there was a lot of talk about us being having the hardest schedule up to this point in the NBA, or one of them. I don't know how you determine that, but it's I guess we face a lot of good teams, and we've come out a little bit over 500. We don't know, but I still think we don't know how good this team is. Are we a fringe playoff team, or are we middle of the pack playoff team?
It could be fringe to middle of the pack. If I'm looking at the talent, I say middle of the pack.
Just
because you guys are just
because of Steph.
Well, Steph, Draymond, and then no, it's like the team in total. Like if I'm breaking down the top 8 teams in the West, you guys are in that top 8. Where you fall, I don't know. I don't think it's the ceiling is like 4. But where's the floor? Is the floor 8 or is the floor like 10
or 11?
I have a hard time thinking it's like 10, 9, 10, or 11.
Teams better than the Warriors.
Yeah, I think
better
you guys are
Steph,
definitely
Curry.
In the playoffs without injury.
Right,
injury changes everything.
Right. Well, that's
or if Draymond continues to get
injury, man,
ejected. That changes it.
Right. Well, the thing why I don't put too much stock in the game last night is I don't think they did this at all during the game. Maybe a little bit in the second half, but like they didn't do the box and one with Steph.
Yeah, that's a junk defense though.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. That's like if they're gonna do that, I still that it hasn't been proven to me that they can still effectively answer that. So,
well,
maybe with Looney in the starting lineup, somebody smarter, somebody more savvy can get into the position where if they double up or triple team Steph, then you should have the advantage once he passes off the rock, at least for a split second. So,
I think it's how you free up Wiggins in that situation,
right?
And if he can score enough to pull them out of that box and one,
right.
That's pretty much it. Like, that box and one, they usually do a box and one because no one else can score. Or that one person is just, like, got playing out of their mind.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get 2 threats on the court, being viable threats at the same time, that box and one is hard to play. Was he going to do a triangle and 2?
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. So, like I said, we still don't know what's going to happen. Interesting thing with this Wiggins or with this with the Wiggins trade again, though, and facing Minnesota is even they're looking to be. I mean, they look like one of the worst teams in the league right now. And if they're like,
has Karl Anthony Towns played at all yet this year?
Maybe in the beginning, but even if they if the season ended tomorrow, they would still have only a 40% chance of getting a top 3 pick. So that's what's so great about this Wiggins trade is that if they fall out of the top 3, the Warriors get their pick. And if they fall into like the 4, 5, 6 range, there's a lot of athletic, really promising talent in this draft. So we might be get another piece. So that'll be something that we watch very closely because we need to rebuild the team. We want sustained excellence over many years. I want Steph Curry.
What would you change? Like, because that's like if Clay's there. Let's look at it like if Clay's there. Like, it's not really a rebuild; it's a win right now team, right?
Right, but we still have a lot of guys.
So with a high pick, it's like, what would you get?
If you have a high pick, then you have Nico Mannion, you have James Wiseman, and you have whoever this pick is, along with the other young guys, the Michael Mulders of the world, and the
That's a lot of roster spots, man.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, well, we have the G League, we have things like that we could build around. It would be cool to have a great starting 5 sort of ready to come in once Steph and Clay and Dre ultimately hang it up.
Eli just wants to be loaded
all the time,
right?
All the time. I want us to win all the time. But you can't win them all unless you're Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Gee whiz.
Or Tom Brady in general.
Well, unless you have Tom Brady, that's how that narrative is looking now, right?
I mean, you always hate Tom Brady because of he always wins and the Deflategate and whatever. But as a San Franciscan and a Niner fan, I hate the and I'm going Tom.
All the way.
Yeah.
TB12.
All right, let's look at the schedule for the next week, and we can make some predictions. I'm going to be more conservative this time because I don't want to. I feel like I was the reason why we lost all those games.
That Nick pick was not conservative.
All right, so we have, if we record next Wednesday, then we'll have another 4 games to go over. So I think that'll be good. So we have the Timberwolves tomorrow.
That's a W for the Dubs. Dub for the Dubs.
Thursday, back to back, we face the Suns.
Split.
What do you mean? You think we'll lose that game?
Win one, and you said it's a back to back with the Suns, or you play the Suns right after you play the
So
Wolves?
it's the Timberwolves on Wednesday, and then on Thursday it's the Suns.
Oh, okay. The Suns are good, and Suns are like kind of familiar to what you guys are.
Mm-hmm. Chris Paul's good,
but Ayton is like. See, that's why I think. That's why I'm like I'm not worried about Wiseman. Ayton was like kind of like Wiseman too, right? You look at his numbers, you're like, for a guy that big and that fast, he should be doing more. But he's coming around now. Some of that might be Chris Paul. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul's a tyrant. He's like he's like Napoleon Bonaparte. So he probably whipped a bit of shape.
Right.
But like and then they got Booker. So I think that'll be a tough one. Because I think they're one of those teams you're going to be fighting for 4 and 8. Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if y'all lost.
Right.
But let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Warriors.
You pick the Warriors for the Suns?
Yeah, man. I kind of think it's like it's what you call that thing in it's a push.
Okay. I'm going to say we lose that game. Saturday at 10 p.m. we got the Pistons. We better win.
This is a win.
They're the worst team in the league.
They got a worst record in the league?
Yeah.
Poor Blake Griffin.
And then on Tuesday at 10, we have the Celtics.
Is Tatum back?
Oh, I didn't know. Is he injured?
He's been out, man. The Celtics are tough, though.
Yeah, well coached.
Good, yeah. Good defense. All right. Since I said you beat the Suns, I'm saying you're going to lose to the Celtics.
All right. I'm going to say we lose that game, too. I'm going to be very conservative now in my picks after I feel like I fucked up this last one. So we're going to go.
Look, Eli going to pick them to lose all 4.
He's back.
And then when they win all 4, you never pick them to win again. Tatum's back.
Come on. I'm not completely. I mean, I said that we beat the Timberwolves and the Detroit Pistons, but in terms of the decent to good teams,
anything close, you're like, we're gonna lose.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. So you're saying we're going 3, and we can give some leeway on this. You're saying we're gonna win 3 out of the 4. We're either gonna beat the Suns or the Celtics, and we'll beat the 2 teams that we should beat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we're going to go 2 out of 4, and we'll see where we land.
All right.
If you guys have any predictions, you want to say any insights, any stuff that you guys want to talk about, comment on the pod, comment on our YouTube, which should be up soon. And, yeah, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Go Warriors!
Go Warriors.